Yeah!
Yeah!
Hey, everybody!
Woo!
It's good to see you all again. Not that I can actually see any of you. Welcome back to our little show that we like to call
Roll with the Troll.
Roll with the Troll. I'm here with the voice of reason.
Hello.
She says very intelligent things. Hang in there. You'll see. You'll see.
Oh, my.
Hey, today we're reviewing. Spoiler review, by the way. If you haven't seen it yet, fucking get out of here. You don't want us to ruin this. We're going to talk about everything. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Episode 6 of Season 15. It's also called Empire Strikes Back.
1.
Season 1. Okay, Season 1. Season 1. Yes. Season 1, Episode 6, spoiler review for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's get into it, voice of reason. Did we like this show?
I love it.
I did not like it.
What?
I loved it. I thought it was great. Okay, I'm fucking around. I thought it was really good. This, I'd say every episode is a little bit better than the last.
Yeah.
This was a little better than 5. 5 was better than 4. You get it. This was such a good episode. Mm-hmm. There's a couple things, though. I do want to get into the bad before we get into the good. Is that cool if we start on the downside? Okay, here's my problem with what's going on here. Is, first of all, when he fights Darth Biden, they're using incredible force power.
Darth Vader.
I mean, they are. What did I say? They are like throwing fucking mountains at each other, right?
Right.
It's just there's like rubble everywhere.
The force power was amazing.
The amount of power these two guys were generating was probably bigger than any force fight I've ever seen.
They were in a giant testosterone battle.
Yeah, I remember that one point. Darth Vader swung this huge, giant, like Sith dick. Lightsaber. Yeah, and so anyway, so there's rubble everywhere, there's destruction, there's so much chaos, there's so much power. Now, a couple problems with that. For one, Obi-Wan had like no power 4 episodes ago. You know, he wasn't even, he had lost so much of his Jedi stuff that he was going to go like get Jedi Viagra and try to get himself back to normal. And now he's more powerful than he's ever been.
I sense a theme in you.
So so I think that's a little odd. Like, I feel like, well, that's kind of funny how that happened so quick. Why is he more powerful now after just a very short while than he was before? So, okay, I can put past that.
Yeah.
But also, Vader's so powerful. How am I supposed to believe that in 9 years now, 9 years from this episode, there are a couple of frail old men, just like they could barely even move their swords. You know what I mean? They wouldn't age that much in 9 years. Like, and really, it's not even a problem with this episode. It's more just a problem with Episode 4, meaning not of the series, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Because Vader does go on to do a lot of that shit to Luke in Empire, doesn't he? Remember on Cloud City? Bespin, he's moving a lot of stuff around. He's using really strong force power. So I feel like, okay, so Vader was that strong in Episode 5, the movie Episode 5, and he's this strong here, and I feel like, then why was he so weak in A New Hope? You know? Like when he fights...
Did you think that he was weak in A New Hope?
Yes!
Or it's just in comparison? In
comparison to both what happened here and in what happens in Empire, I feel like Vader is very weak in A New Hope when he fights Obi-Wan. It's a disaster. It's two frail men hardly moving lightsabers, and then like that scene where Ben Kenobi kind of twirls around. He's like a little dance twirl. That looks terrible. Like, they really look like they're having a very hard time even moving their lightsabers, let alone trying to make anything else move around. And so this fight here makes me think like they're going to age this much in 9 years, and then Vader's going to get it back, and it's just it's too odd.
So you're trying to really bridge the gap and keep the story consistent from the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi to the start of
A New Hope.
A New Hope. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
And also the other problem I have with this too, along similar lines, is again, I love the show. I just want to start with some of the negatives first. In Episode 3, I thought, again, Episode 3 of the movies, the Revenge of the Sith, not the show. I felt like it was really clear that Obi-Wan felt that Darth Vader had now consumed Anakin. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was really done. And now 10 years after Vader's tyranny, 10 years of Vader taking over the galaxy, 10 years of Vader trying to force people to get a medical procedure that they don't want or they lose their jobs. Oh, wait, that was something else. That was a different dystopian future. I'm sorry. Okay. But so 10 years later, I mean, Vader has been the bad guy now for a decade. And somehow Obi-Wan is still thinking there's good Anakin in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And when he says that scene in this episode, which is it's a great scene, but when he says, "So my friend truly is gone," you know, that I just feel like, well, dude, you've known this for a long time now. We've done.
But I don't think he did know it.
It's been 10 years of Darth Vader ruling this galaxy with Kamala Harris. It's not.
I don't think Obi-Wan knew, though.
Well, I don't know how you know. So to me, I'm just saying I think that's a little bit of a problem. But I don't want to linger on the bad because there was so much good in this episode.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that now?
Let's talk.
All right, let's talk about that. That fucking line in their fight.
Yeah.
When right when Obi-Wan broke Vader's helmet, I think he fucked up some of his other suit too, right? The rest of his suit, his bodysuit. When Vader says, when he says, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan."
Yeah. Oh God, that ripped me apart.
I really stopped. I went from paying a lot of attention to like I didn't want to hear a crackle from like the chips. I didn't want to hear like a little rustle outside. I wanted to fully focus on what was happening.
Yeah.
And then when
that was so powerful.
Oh my God! Right when I knew it was going somewhere big when he said, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan."
Yes.
And then things got really intense. And then he said, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did."
Yeah.
And I just thought, Jesus Christ, this is the best moment in all of Star Wars to me.
Yes, they had the perfect mixture too in the voice between Anakin versus Darth Vader. You know, Hayden Christensen compared to James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that couldn't have been more brilliant.
Yeah, it was like the perfect balance. So you got the flavor of both of them as he's speaking through the mask, but he's speaking directly into, the atmosphere also. And gosh, and to hear the actual voice of Anakin, which we presume is probably the last time. That's probably the last time that we will hear actual Anakin or any flavor of Anakin. And for him to say that, for those to be the last words from him that we actually hear any of Anakin's voice, oh, it just gutted me.
I guess that's what I'm bitching about a little bit, is that I love this scene so much, but I feel like if you really did Star Wars right from beginning to end, and I know that would change a lot of things, but if you really did it right, that should have been in the end of Revenge of the Sith. Mm-hmm. Don't you think? Mm. I think this was their way of kind of saying, like, here's what I feel like the writers were doing. I think they said, shit, Revenge of the Sith would have been so much cooler if blah, 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 blah. And they just said, let's just have them fight again and do all that stuff. And I think that's really what my little bit of a problem is I love this, but really this all should have been at the end of Revenge of the Sith, not now. Anyway, let's talk about one of your favorite things, right? The Princess Leia wrapping up of the story arc. Go ahead and tell us. I know you love this whole part, and so do I.
I did. Oh, it was so sweet. It ended so sweetly between Leia and Obi-Wan. And throughout all of the episodes, all of the previous episodes, when he would get so cross with her sometimes, I was like, oh, and then at the very end, I mean, he really came to have some affection for her, and he was so sweet to her, and his parting words where he explained the characteristics that she gets from her mother and from her father, and he was so complimentary to both of the parents, it got me in the heart.
Yeah, it couldn't have been better. I love that too. When he doesn't, of course, tell her that her father was fucking Darth Biden, but when he says, when he explains, like you said, all the great things, all the gifts that he got from her mom. Mm-hmm. At first, I remember thinking, is he going to talk about the dad too? Because you might want to edit some of that shit out, And then he went right for it, and he just said, you got this and this and this from your father. And I just thought, wow, that's a nice way to wrap the story up for not only Leia, but for us to kind of look back at the good from Anakin, right? It was an emotional episode. God damn, this was emotional. Yeah. Now, how about once I was surprised, not at all by the Leia stuff. I figured that's how he was going to wrap it all up. Mm-hmm. But the Luke stuff surprised the shit out of me. Yeah. Go ahead, take it away. Tell us.
Well, I mean, Reva is hunting down Luke now on Tatooine, and you see Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru become total badasses, and they're fighting off Third Sister, and she takes off into the desert chasing after Luke, who's now on the run, and then she does not have the heart to kill him. She has him right there. She can do it, and then she can't make herself do it. And instead, she carries him back to the compound because he fell and he was unconscious. And to see the reaction of Aunt and Uncle when she brings him back, and there's so much love there. Oh, yeah. we didn't get much of Luke. We had hardly any Luke, and this was always the Luke Skywalker story, you know. And we didn't get any of him in the Obi-Wan series. We got Leia, which I think it was a really good choice. I think it works for me.
Yeah, this was better. Remember, the really careful thing that they have to be very careful about here is they can't have Luke get to know Obi-Wan well, because that will really fuck up A New Hope.
Right.
Because Luke was very very particular in A New Hope, where he said, "There's old Obi-Wan Kenobi or Ben Kenobi." Remember that?
I wonder if he meant old Ben.
Yeah, remember that. So it was pretty clear to me. I remember being a little kid and thinking, okay, so Luke kind of knows him from around. So he's somebody that Luke's maybe met, I don't know, 5 to maybe 20 times in his life, I would think, right?
He knows of him, but doesn't really know him.
Right. And so they couldn't screw that up because that was a little bit too important. Now they did screw up the Leia thing, because in A New Hope, it's pretty clear Leia does not know him, right? When she says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you served with my father," it's pretty clear to me that Leia does not know who he is. So they did screw that up a little bit here, but they kind of fixed it because he tells Leia at the end how, this is our secret and you can't bring it up. So that kind of, I don't know, do you think that really fixes it?
I think that it moves in the right direction, and it gives me enough to bridge the gap between the ending of this series and the beginning of A New Hope. It's fine for me.
And don't forget, there could be more of this series. I mean, we're probably going to get a season 2.
I hope.
I have a feeling they're going to try to stay away from Luke and Leia and Vader now. I think a season 2 would be very different. But who knows? We don't know what's going to go down.
Yeah.
What were some other great moments from this show, from this episode?
Well, I think we've covered most of the big things that happened in this final episode. I think that my favorite scene was the fight scene between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, when Obi-Wan cracks and breaks the mask, Darth Vader's mask, and you see half of Darth's face and half of Anakin's face, reminiscent of the scene with Luke and Yoda in the forest.
It's called Dagobah, yes.
Thank you, Dagobah. I had a brain fart there. But yeah, so reminiscent of that. And
there's snakes and shit. It's not entirely a forest.
Oh my.
Mostly a swamp.
Thanks. Selling the real estate here. Yeah, so I like that scene. I think that was my favorite in the entire thing, but it was just really one great scene after another, really.
I'll tell you this. I think the things we have not talked about that I loved more than I should have, that last moment when Obi-Wan is starting to walk away, and after, clearly Obi-Wan was not liked by Uncle Owen, right?
Right.
I thought that was clear. Like, Uncle Owen has never liked him.
No.
When Owen says, "Hey, you want to meet him?"
Yeah.
Oh God, that got me. That got me. I got pretty emotional there, and I'm not sure why, because I thought, well, what's the big deal that he's just meeting him? And I thought, I guess in my heart, I felt like, because that's the root of all Star Wars storytelling, is when Ben meets Luke. To me, or at least in A New Hope, when they come across each other. To me, that's really when the story truly begins.
Yeah.
Right? As far as Luke's learning the Force and everything and his whole journey, it really begins once he comes across Obi-Wan. You mean old Ben Kenobi? So I think, to me, right when he said you want to meet him, I just thought, man, now Star Wars is really beginning in a way. So that was great. And then I thought it was such a nice fucking wrapping of the bow, where he ends up seeing Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon explains, he's like, "No, I was always here. You just weren't ready to see me."
Yeah.
That's amazing. That was a really nice way to fix and retcon the fact that they couldn't get Qui-Gon to be in Star Wars episode Revenge of the Sith. Because he was supposed to be in it, and they couldn't get him, and so they ended up not being able to do it. So now they wrote around that. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for enjoying this video. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified about all the other videos that we do. We talk Cobra Kai, we talk fucking Halloween, we talk lots of Star Wars, Batman, everything, right? Voice of Reason?
That is what we cover it all.
We try to cover everything. And pretty soon, we're going to do a 5-hour review of The Bachelor. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, I'm just fucking around. All right, guys, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Have a good night.
Thanks so much, everybody.